Hello, I am Rebecca and this is a transmission for the full moon. I am from Pillars of the Moon, so yeah, this is a offering to you, and I am doing these videos every new and full moon. So blessings from Avalon. This is where I am right now, and yeah, Lammas blessings. The first fruit is today. Today is Saturday the 1st here in England. So this is when I'm recording this video. I'm going to talk to you a little bit today about the energies of this full moon, and also a little bit about the 8th of the 8th, the Lions Gate portal, and also just an overview as well about the wheel of the year, and how it corresponds to the constellations and the 13 moons. Yeah, so that's basically a brief overview of what we'll be going through today. I use 13 star sign astrology, so there's 13 constellations in the zodiac wheel that the sun goes through every year. And so right now in the lifetime sky, the sun is in Cancer, which is different to Western astrology and tropical astrology, but I won't go into that now. That's not really why I'm here. I'm just here to share with you the report of the lifetime sky of what's going on right now. So I just want to honour as well my beautiful mentor and friend Kim Nosworthy Lovelace. She's a dear friend of mine and has been assisting me in my astrology. So yeah, thank you, Kim. And so yeah, let's just go into the report. Just going to drink some yummy tea. I feel like before I start explaining about the energy of this full moon, which is coming up on the 3rd, which is Monday here in England, I just wanted to talk a little bit about the constellations and the wheel and how they work together. It's like the way that I feel around the wheel or the zodiac is that it's reflective of our life cycle as well, and the seasons, and how everything is intertwined and there is no separation, and how we live and we die and we're reborn again. And so to me, the zodiac wheel symbolizes that with the archetypes. There's 13 archetypes that we journey through each year and in our life. And so what they're here for is they're here to teach us about ourselves and about everything, you know, that we are connected to everything. So yeah, and how we come into this world, like the alignments that are available to us when we've come in, you know, it really tells us a lot about what we're here to learn and what our soul wants to evolve with, you know, and that's how the astrology can really help us. But I also like to really take notice of the season we were born in, you know, the phase of the moon we were born in, the sign of the moon that we were born in, also the time of day we was born, were we born on our due date or a little bit early or a little bit late. You know, there's so much wisdom that we can receive from our birth and the alignments of what we chose to come in here with. And so this is what I'm really passionate about sharing, and yeah, this is my work, my life's work, it feels. So yeah, and it is, like, for me, I can see it as a journey, you know. So if you've come in with particular archetypes, you know, you could say I was born in spring at the time of a new moon eclipse. So, you know, a big part of my journey is that spring energy of initiating newness and new cycles, which is the new moon. And so you can really get a lot of wisdom and insight from looking at these things. And so there's so many layers to it, you know, once you start looking into all of this, which I love. It's so yummy. So yeah, coming to the wheel, looking at the wheel as a whole with the 13 signs. So starting at the beginning you know, to me, and in the Celtic wheel of the year, the beginning is at the end. So we celebrate the beginning at Samhain. And so Samhain is like, you know, with all the seeds have fallen from the trees and they're starting to bury down into the earth. And so this to me is Scorpio. And so Scorpio is death, you know, it's that ending, it's that, you know, that's the end. And so once you go through the gateway of Scorpio, you find yourself in Ophiuchus. And so Ophiuchus has been taken out of the tropical zodiac for thousands of years, but we're just starting to remember the wisdom of Ophiuchus, you know, and this is the serpent tamer, a feminine archetype originally. Now in the lifetime sky, you know, the image that you see is of a man holding a snake, but originally Ophiuchus was considered to be a feminine sign. So it's like the serpent priestess or the serpent tamer. And what Ophiuchus is here to teach us is about going into the underworld and the descent. And that's where Lilith is, because the serpent is here too. It's like I'm holding a serpent now here, look. And so Ophiuchus is like, it's the journey in. And it's, you can imagine a seed, once it's hit the soil, it starts to go down, you know, and it's slippery, slidey slope all the way down. And then when we get to the bottom of the serpent, we find ourselves in Sagittarius. And so in the lifetime sky, Sagittarius is where we find the galactic center. The galactic center is also like, it's a black hole, and it's known by astronomers as like the center of the universe. It's like where baby stars are born. It's, to me, it's the yoni, so, or the womb. So when we get to Sagittarius in the wheel, it's like we've gone down the descent of the serpent of Ophiuchus and we reach the womb center of the galactic center in Sagittarius. And this is a real time of homecoming, you know, and in the wheel of the year, this would be the time of like the winter solstice. It's the time of like the first light. It's like that coming home into this kind of celebration, new year, you know, even when the seed gets back to the womb, it's a new year. And so after Sagittarius, we find ourselves in Aquarius. So, no, sorry, Capricorn. I'm testing my memory now. So after Sagittarius, it's Capricorn. And so, to me, Capricorn is the cosmic father, or the galactic father. And these are the inner realms, you know. So once you get into the womb, like to me, Capricorn, Aquarius and Pisces, these are the winter elements. This is the inner worlds, the inner realms. You know, so to me, the Capricorn, Aquarius and Pisces, this is the trinity of the divine masculine, the divine feminine and the sacred child. And they live like inside the womb. And so once you go through the Sagittarian galactic center and into the womb space, then we find ourselves, you know, with the mother, father and child archetypes. And this is the inner journey of winter. And so every year we get an opportunity to come into this inner realms of our inner father, our inner mother and our child. And so coming into Capricorn, who is Capricorn? He is, to me, he feels like the galactic father. He's the energy of the structures, the masculine, who's kind of the sky masculine, he's the star masculine. And he is the wise elder, you know, he's the archetype of time. He's the archetype of structure and building and wisdom, you know. He's also of achievement and ambition. And so next to him, we find ourselves with the sacred cosmic mother, and that's Aquarius. And so I've been doing lots of research about Aquarius recently because I keep like feeling like we're coming into the age of Aquarius. Well, what does that mean? Who is Aquarius? And a lot of what we've been told in astrology, you know, isn't accurate to the actual constellations and what they really are and who they really are. And so a lot has been hidden. So what I really feel like, for me, I'm just like tuning into, you know, who is Aquarius really, you know, and really kind of researching a lot and feeling into it a lot and, you know, channeling a lot. And so I found a lot of information about Aquarius, and, you know, Aquarius in the sky, you know, she's surrounded by the water element. She's got Pisces right next to her. She's got the Dolphinus, the dolphin constellation. She's got the whale, she's got, I can't even remember them all, but she's surrounded by water elements, and Aquarius is known in some traditions and stories that I've been reading as the goddess of the ocean, or the goddess of the sea, also known as the Great Mother. So you could see that Aquarius is like the cosmic mother, or the birther of all. And so if you think about the way that she's holding the chalice, or the container full of stars, or it's water, right? But we are made of water. So when she's got the chalice and she's emptying it, it's like she is the holy grail, you know, of the stars that are birthing into the world. And so she's pouring them down, you know, out of her yoni, out of her womb. And that's such a beautiful way to look at Aquarius. So if you think, wow, we're moving into the age of Aquarius, you know, this is really what we are going to be coming into. It's like this divine feminine consciousness who, you know, everything works in union with each other, you know, and in a cyclical nature. And so when you've got the mother and the father, the galactic mother and father, you know, of course you get the sacred child, and that's where Pisces comes in, you know. It's like the infinite consciousness, it's the child in the womb, it's just like the collective unconsciousness, it's psychic, it's empathic, it's in touch with everything, feeling everything, knowing everything, all knowing, all feeling. And so, you know, with the Pisces energy, you know, we're connected to the womb, we're still inside the inner realms. And then when you get to Aries, that's when it's that fiery energy that bursts out. You know, you get the ring of fire in childbirth. For lots of you who've got children will know, it's like when their head is crowning, you need that fire to really push the energy out and start again, to get the life out, new life. And so that's where the Aries energy comes in. And I feel now this is when we move into spring. And so our spring elements for me are Aries, Taurus and Gemini. And it's quite a young energy, it's quite a sensual energy, it's a kind of curious energy, you know, of the springtime. And so that comes after, you know, we've been born, and it's coming out into the world. So you could see it, you know, as the seasons, you know, it's like the spring equinox of when seeds are coming up and out, you know, and it's kind of this new fresh energy of spring. And so once we get past the springtime, then we come into our summer elements, which is where we are now here in the Northern Hemisphere. So our summer is the Cancer, that's the mother, the Earth Mother, and the Leo and the Virgo. And to me these are the summer aspects. And so when we get into the summer, we're journeying with the mother, and we're journeying with Leo, who to me is like the sun, you know, his ruler is the sun, and so Cancer's ruler is the moon. So when we get to the summertime, it's like we get to meet the divine feminine of the mother and the divine masculine of the father in Cancer and Leo. And then when we come into Virgo, you know, we start to come into where we're like in our first like harvesting and precision and coming into maturity and wisdom. And so those three are the summer. And then when you come into Libra, to me, Libra is a season of her own. And because to me, like, Libra is golden, she is beautiful, she is like the 10 of discs in the tarot card, those of you who are into tarot. And so Libra is like this place at the end of the cycle where everything has been harvested, where we're celebrating, where we're having feasts, where it's connected to Isis and the swan energy. You know, it's like this completion of the whole wheel of the cycle before then we go back into Scorpio and we start again. So Libra to me at the end here, she is like the golden sun of the divine. You know, it's like, okay, we've finished this whole journey and we're just going to celebrate how far we've come, you know, before we start to come back in and let go of Scorpio. So that's the wheel. So you can see how it's connected to the seasons, and you can see how the 13 is actually really important. Like if we didn't have a Fucus there, we wouldn't know about the descent. All the seeds would just be on the top of the soil, never going in and never growing again. So a Fucus is so important. So to me, like remembering a Fucus, it's, for me, 13 star sign astrology is the way. It's the way of the future, and how we're going to be reading the stars in years to come. So I'm really passionate about this. And also, Western astrology doesn't match the lifetime sky now, because we've moved since then. It's we're a whole sign nearly out of what it was when the original Western astrology chart was made, quite a long time ago. Just going to have some more tea. So now I've kind of explained the wheel. When I'm talking about things like of what's going on right now, I can really understand a lot deeper, about how, we get to certain times of year. This is the energies that we're working with. And so right now the sun is in Cancer in the lifetime sky, which doesn't move into Leo until the 10th of August. And then we're going to have our Leo season. So it's just a little bit behind of what Western astrology uses. So on Monday, which is the 3rd, there will be a full moon in the sign of Capricorn. And to me, like I said, Capricorn is like the cosmic father. And so when you think about the sky and us being the earth in the centre, on the earth in the centre, so on this side we're going to have the full moon being feminine in Capricorn, which is a divine masculine father energy, and then we've got the sun in the mother of Cancer. And so the sun being masculine or fire, so we've got like these elements of the masculine and feminine on this side, that's 2, masculine and feminine on that side, that's 2. That's the 22 frequency, which has been a massive theme for this year. For many of you know, the 22 has been coming up again and again and again. Number 22 is connected to Mary Magdalene, and it's also connected to sacred union and divine union, the 2 coming together and forming the Vesica Pisces. And so, there's so much in here. I've actually done a little diagram because it's easier for me to explain. And I've done pretty colours with it as well, so I'm hoping you can see this. And so the way that I see it in the sky, hopefully you can see, so up here in the green you've got Capricorn, which is the cosmic father, and Aquarius, which is the cosmic mother. And so Capricorn in astrology is an earth sign, and Aquarius is an air sign. I've done that in purple because I feel like it connects to the spiritual realms. So, and then if you come down here, this is the Cancer the mother, she's the water element, she's connected to the moon. And then here you have Leo, who is connected to the sun. That's the ruler of Leo, is ruled by the sun. That's the fire energy. So you could even say that you have like the divine union here and here. And so what is happening at the moment in the sky with this alignment, we have our Lion's Gate portal, which is on the 8th of the 8th. And so you can see 8. Isn't that interesting? So I've only just recently kind of figured that out when I did this drawing, and I'm like, wow. So the Lion's Gate portal, which is on the 8th of the 8th, is connected to, well, it's aligned up with the pyramids in Egypt. And so when you look at the sky, you're going to have on one side, it's aligned with this divine union on both sides, So we've got on boof and boof, we've got the connection to the sacred union energy. And so I was researching a little bit about this before the video, and so I'm just going to look at my notes to make sure I say it right. So it's believed that the 8-8 is the doorway that's opened between matter and spirit, and it's where polarities meet and merge. That was on the internet. I can't remember the website, but there's so much information about the 8-8 online you can research for yourself. And so when you look here, it's like this is the earth, this is the physical. We're down here in the earthly matter. And then up here in Capricorn and Aquarius, this is like the sky mother and father, So it's like this portal is about connecting the sky mother and father with the earthly mother and father and bringing them into the center. This is us on the earth, So we can really call in this energy. And if you look, there's two triangles which are formed, because what I've done is I've drawn a line from the mother to the mother and the father to the father, creating an X. And then you have two triangles, and when you bring the triangles together, you get the Star of David, which is also called the Solomon seal. And this means as above, so below. So it's like spirit and matter are one. What happens in the earth is happening. It's like it's all connected. This is how I see it anyway. So this is what this full moon is about. It's about the mother and the father inside of ourselves. It's about the relationship between the earth and the sky, and the mother and the father within us. And how does that play out? So it's actually quite present in me right now, because I am a mother. So in the wheel, I'm in the mothering stage of my life. So I could say I'm in the Cancer stage of my life. I'm in the mother, I'm in the water, really connected to my feelings and the moon, and my flow, and my child, obviously, and nurturing. So Cancer is all about nurturing and inner security, and how we look after ourselves, how we nourish ourselves, and how we mother ourselves and others. And then Capricorn is so ambitious, so it's what it can be feeling right now. It's like this, this big balancing between our ambitions and where we want to go, and what we really need to give ourselves and how we need to look after ourselves. And these things need to be in balance, and be in our center. So if we're like constantly like this Capricorn charging up the mountain, like yes, I'm going to get to the top, I've got all these ideas, I'm going to achieve them all. That's the masculine. It's like, yes, up. He's at the top of the mountain, but he needs the downward facing triangle of the Cancer, of the mother, to balance that out, because he needs to take enough rest. He needs to have enough water. He needs to eat enough food. And then, it's like he's more balanced and he can do more, actually, than if he was just charging up all the time. And so I feel this is where, the earth that we live on has got out of balance, because a lot of the energy on the earth has been very yang, it's been very masculine, it's been driven by ambition and ego and really masculine, and forgetting so much about the feminine need for rest and rejuvenation, for, nourishment and nurturing. And so, and because we're not giving back to ourselves, to our own bodies, and resting when we need to, we forget to give back to the earth as well, and this mother that we're living on, so it's reflective. The way that the earth has been treated is the same reflection of how we've treated our own bodily self, and our own, the way that we mother in ourselves. And I really feel like the mother, the earth mother, me as a mother now, it hasn't, the world doesn't really acknowledge mothers the way that they could, like the honouring of the mother, and like, wow, you're feeding and nourishing a child, like, Arthur, my son, is so incredible now, that's come from my milk and all the love that I pour into him and all of these things. And so this is, what coming into this new age of Aquarius, it's like the cosmic mother is like, come on, let's really look at the mother, let's look at how we mother ourselves. And then when we do this, we come back into balance, we start to listen to the voice within, what do I truly feel? What do I truly need? And then we come into a place of rest. And then from that, we might get an inspirational idea pop in and say, wow, I'm going to do that next. And it's centered and it's true and it's authentic. It's from a place of love and rest and giving ourselves what we need. And that's the creative energy we want to share. It doesn't come from the ego. It comes from our creative vessel down here in our sacral chakra, so then we can bring that energy up, and start bringing it out here into the mountainous realms of the consciousness that is the sacred divine father. The Capricorn energy will then lift it up and charge it through and say, you're right, okay, let's do it. But we have to come back home to this womb space first and really feel what it is that we want. And yeah, that's kind of how I feel what is probably coming into balance for this full moon. It's like, how are we using these energies within ourselves? Are we all about ambition? Or maybe we're so in our feelings and our body that we never get anything done. It's not in balance. So it's just really tuning into the energies within ourselves and how that kind of is playing out in our lives. Cancer is also connected to the home as well. And so all things to do with security, home, and versus ambition and Capricorn. So it can be a really interesting time, that's for sure. And that's just the moon and the sun, I've been talking about. So I've just jotted down a few notes about just a few other things. So I wanted to talk just briefly about the 13th and the symbology of the 13. So my dear friend Kim was mentioning to me about on the 13th is when the Lionsgate portal will fully close. And so on this full moon portal on Monday the 3rd, we've got the sun in 13 degrees of Cancer, and the moon also will be in 13 degrees of Cancer, but it doesn't move into Capricorn, sorry. The moon doesn't move into 13 degrees of Capricorn until later in the day on Monday. But on Monday in the evening, both Cancer will be at 13 degrees, the sun will be at 13 degrees of Cancer, and the moon will be at 13 degrees of Capricorn. That's really special, that's really important. I feel that is incredible alignment for this full moon, especially, with the Lionsgate portal. And so also the goddess asteroid Ceres, she is the mother, she's the corn mother. She is connected to Demeter as well in the different stories to do with Ceres, but she is connected to motherhood. And so in the lifetime sky, she will also be at 13 degrees. And she's in Aquarius, the cosmic mother. So, woo, there you go. And so the 13 is connected to, there's 13 moons a year, there's 13 constellations. 13 is often the time when girls first start menstruating. It's a sacred number to the goddess, and if you add together 1 and 3, you get 4, and 4 is the amount of seasons we have, the phases of the moon. So it's so prominent, and 13 star sign astrology is really just starting to blossom now and come. People are like, oh yeah, I want to know more, and it's kind of pouring in, and that's really amazing. So thank you so much for following this, because this is kind of, there's a reason why there's all these 13s and 22s in all the astrology at the moment. It's like this anchoring these codes of sacred union, and also the divine feminine and cyclical wisdom. So it's really incredible, and I feel so blessed to be sharing this wisdom with you all. Ceres is also the goddess that we celebrate at Lammas, which is now in the Northern Hemisphere. And so it's all about harvest and learning about, death and taking from the mother, but also honouring her in that as well. When we're taking our fruits and vegetables and things, giving thanks and, making it like a really honouring ceremony and celebration, rather than just take and not really knowing where things come from. So that's what Ceres teaches us about, and that really is, what Lammas is about. It's the harvest of the corn and baking of the bread, connected to the mother energy. And so that being 13 degrees in Aquarius, it feels like there's a massive balancing happening right now with the masculine, and it's so powerful. And so over these next few weeks, you know, with this Lionsgate portal, you know, if we're having any dreams and things, to really just listen to that dream world and what's coming in, you know. There's so much going on in the stars right now. I could talk all day. I won't. I'm going to wrap it up really soon. But yeah, I think that's all I have to say really for today. I'm just going to quickly check my notes. Yes, so the Lion's Gate, obviously a lot of astrology says about, it's because, you know, the sun is in Leo now and it's about the lion and everything. But I had this amazing revelation on the phone with my dear sister Kim the other day, and we were saying, because actually the Lion's Gate is open now and it starts in Cancer, which is the mother. So it starts in water, and then after the 8th of the 8th, that portal, that crossover point, then the sun, masculine or the fire, moves into Leo, and so that's where the gate will close. And so it's like you have like that's the alchemy, you know, of the fire and the water, you know, and that's kind of like what is really anchoring, you know, to me. And so then we'll have our Leo season. It's like once the energy has come back home to the mother, to the womb, to the feelings, you know, then we can say, right, this is what I truly feel from my heart, from my womb, what I'm going to create. And then that creative energy of the lion takes it out, you know, and starts creating it. And that's the fire energy, that creation. Such a beautiful, beautiful flow of energy, to see it that way. Anything else? Venus is, and the North Node are conjunct in Taurus at the time of the full moon. So Venus is all about love, obviously, and sensuality. And the North Node is where we are going collectively, our destiny for this next little while, or our focus for this next little while of time. And so with Venus being right next to the North Node, it's like she's really bringing us back into our centre, back into our heart. What do we value? What do we really feel? How can we get more in our body? How can we get more in our senses and smell the roses? Come into a place of really enjoying life, you know, and that's what Taurus is about. It's about the earthly, grounded presence, you know. And so Venus is home right now in Taurus, and she's having a good time. She's like, right, I'm going to get in the garden, going to grow some yummy food, you know, and just lay down for a bit. That's what I might do now. So yeah, I think that's all for today. So I just want to thank you all for joining me on this Lammas afternoon, and yeah, please follow me, subscribe. If you would like to have your 13 star sign astrology chart, just let me know. We can organise that, and yeah, please do share if you love what I'm sharing, because it's really feels so aligned and I feel so passionate about it. So yeah, sending you all so much love, and I will see you in 2 weeks for the new moon. Mwah!